Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video, I'm going to be doing public school versus private school. And I got the idea because I have attended both a private school and a public school, also a charter school, but that's not in this video today because it's like kind of in between. So I have written down a list comparing the two. This is the private school side, this is the public school side. And one of my friends actually helped me come up with the list, and I used to go to the private school with this person, and they also now go to a public school. So let's get right into it. So getting started, going off my list here, I'm going to start with the dress code. So in a public school, we have, believe it or not, a lot more flexibility with how we dress because, first of all, we don't have to wear a uniform, unlike private school, and I will get to that in a minute. So I know every public school is different. The charter school dress code was a lot more strict than the public high school's dress code, but like I would not be able to wear this, but I could wear a tank top. But they were really picky about bra straps, so I don't know. You could pretty much wear whatever you wanted though, and even if you were breaking dress code, you more than likely, if you avoid the security guards, you probably wouldn't get dress code anyway because of how many students there are at the high school. And then as for the private school, the uniform, you're already wearing a uniform, and it had to look a certain way. So one major thing was for girls, you could only have one ear piercing, and that was the lobe. So like I have two lobe piercings. I would not be able to have both of them in. And another one was boys could not have piercings at all. You couldn't dye your hair, and they were really picky about the hair length on the boys. So I know every so often, like if the hair came below the ear and if it touched the collar of the shirt that we had to wear, the parents would like get something that would say like, hey, it's time for your child to get a haircut. Unless it was for like religious reasons, and that's the only like exception they made. And in public school there's no rules about makeup or anything like that. Private school there is rules, so you couldn't tell that you were wearing makeup. So like I could not wear this to private school. Oh, and they're really strict about earrings too, so like no dangly earrings along with the piercings. Next thing on the list I have is obviously, I should have touched on this first, but price difference. You don't have to pay to go to a public school. You have to pay to go to a private school. And depending on where the school is, the tuition can vary in price. So that's just another thing. And then one other like major thing is the lunches. So private school, obviously you're paying to go there, you would expect better lunches, and this is the case. I really do miss the lunches that they gave to us at my private school because we had something different every day, and then eventually they added a salad bar, which the salad bar was really good. And the lunches were just better. They had actual flavor to them. You could tell like if we were having chicken that day, it tasted like real chicken. Unlike public school lunches, I think it's like $3 because like I don't qualify for discounted lunch. I think it's like $3, and like our chicken is discolored. Like the chicken sandwiches, if you bite into it and you look at the chicken, it's not completely white. It has like a grayish pink color. It's kind of disturbing. It's kind of gross. But the lunches at the private school are way better. Let's see, what else do I have on here? So they have private religious schools and private, just regular private schools. I happen to go to a private Catholic school, so they incorporate a lot of religious things. So one example is we had mass every month, and we also had morning prayer. So every morning we would all line up with our class, whatever, and we would do like a morning prayer or whatever, and then we would all go to class. We also had, we had something called Faith Buddies. So it started off as reading buddies, but then it transferred into faith buddies. I don't know, we still did like activities and reading, but I think it was like more religious based. So what it was an older kid paired up with a younger kid, and they were buddies. And then we would just do activities with them. I think this was like once a month or like every other month that we would go and see our faith buddies. They were really strict about no cursing. There were obviously, I don't think there were ever any fights. And the school itself was really sheltered. So even though I went to the school from pre-kindergarten all the way to 5th grade, but the school itself went up to 8th grade. And the friend that helped me make this list was there until 8th grade. And we were really sheltered in elementary school, but they were still sheltered in middle school as well. Like, as soon as you left the school, you were in for like a rude awakening of like the real world, I suppose. The media at the private school was very censored because obviously it's a Catholic school. Another thing that we had was nuns. Public school doesn't have nuns. And then we also, for field trips, at public school, when you go on a field trip, you have your regular yellow school bus. Private school, or at least the one I went to, we had charter buses. You know, those nice buses. I would compare it to like maybe a Greyhound bus. They weren't called Greyhound buses, but they were really nice. The seats were all nice. You had more room in between seats. There were TVs. It was air conditioned. So we had that when we went to field trips. That eventually got changed to regular yellow school buses, but we did have that for a while. And then, our school, we had trimesters instead of semesters. And then, another, like, this really stuck out to me, their grading system. So at the private school's grading system, I think it was like a 92 would already be considered a B+, and basically anything below an 80 was like a D. That doesn't make sense, does it? Versus public school, it's like 90 to 100 is an A, and then like 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, and then a D is like 60 to 69, and then F is lower. An F at our school was, I believe, a 65. Yeah, I think that was an F. So we were always like really stressed all the time because of how strict this grading system was. And they started giving us letter grades in, I think, 4th grade. So we were already incorporated into this strict grading system. And then when I transferred to public school, it was a lot easier for me to like maintain my good grades that I had. And then, okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I had to kind of bring it back. Okay. There was a huge difference in class sizes. At public school, you have a huge number of students, and private schools are usually smaller in class size. And there's always, like, public schools have more clubs to join. The private school had a few, but it was just your normal, like, newspaper, yearbook. I think there was a National Honor Society, but there weren't any, like, clubs that you would have if you went to a public high school. And then we had designated lunch tables. So I don't know how it works in public elementary school. Please, if you went to a public elementary school, please let me know how this worked. But our tables were separated by class and by gender. So in 5th grade, say I was in the class 5-1. So I would go to the 5-1 table, but I would have to go sit at the 5-1 girls table. So girls and boys could not eat together. Apparently this did change like 8th grade year because of how small the class was, but I obviously wasn't there 8th grade year. I just heard this from my friend. And in public school, at least in public high school and in middle school, we were able to eat wherever we wanted. I don't know if this has to do with the fact that we didn't have a cafeteria, but please let me know how lunch worked for public elementary school. Okay, a couple more things, we're almost done. So public school, when you go from 5th grade to 6th grade, you have a promotion. And then when you go from 8th grade to high school, you have your promotion. And then once you're a senior in high school, then you have your graduation. Well, in private school, since it's from, I think, preschool all the way to 8th grade, you don't have that like separation from 5th and 6th grade. And when you go from 8th grade to high school, you have an actual like graduation ceremony. So you have like your cap and gown, and they do the whole graduation thing. They even give you like little diplomas. So that's one thing that private school does. And we also had a mandatory Spanish class. So like we had to take Spanish, there were no other language options. And then we also had a computer class. And then last thing I wanted to touch on real quick. So every so often we would have spirit dress days. And these were days where you could wear jeans. They couldn't be ripped though, because private school. And you could wear a school shirt. So it could be like your PE shirt. I know some kids wear their PE shirt. I don't know why you want to, but you could wear your PE shirt. The school sold like their own like merch. And it just said like the school's name, but it wasn't a uniform shirt. So you could wear that on spirit dress days, or you could just wear your uniform polo shirt with jeans. But they're really strict on the types of jeans. And I know especially for the older girls, you were not allowed to wear skinny jeans. And obviously your jeans couldn't have holes in them. And I think you were allowed to wear black jeans. I can't remember, but no, I think they did have to be blue jeans. I think you were only allowed to wear blue jeans, so you couldn't even wear black jeans. So even on those spirit dress days, you were still very limited to what you could wear. And I believe that is, oh no, one more thing. So starting in middle school in the private school, so I guess they were called junior high. So starting in 6th grade, you had to have a certain number of service hours. So like community service hours. So that could be anything like helping out with like daycare in the school or doing things around your community. But you had to have a certain number of service hours. I believe my friend told me it was 20 per trimester. So that's 60 for 1 year, all 3 years of middle school. Public school, we don't have to do community service unless it's obviously part of like your club or whatever. I had to do some community service hours for cheer my freshman year, but just regular, no. So that is some of the biggest differences I noticed, along with obviously like the kinds of crowds. So like obviously in public school there's more like drug use, there's obviously more fights, and oh my gosh, the bathrooms. I'm just forgetting so many things. Okay, the bathrooms. So our bathrooms are gross. If you're a girl and you go to our high school, you know what I'm talking about. Our bathrooms are disgusting. At private school, at least, they cleaned the bathrooms. The bathrooms were always super, super clean. And it sucks that, like, even though when our custodians, like, cleaned our bathrooms, they're still dirty. And I don't know how, like, you clean a bathroom and it's still dirty, but that's just how it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I, like, touched on everything. If you have anything else to add about your experience, and again with the public elementary thing, leave it in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you have to say, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Mwah.